Serious people who worked at hotels during furry, anime, sci-fi, comic, other conventions. What crazy did you see go down? My story is like 55% relevant to the question. I worked at a resort in the summer. I worked catering, front desk, room service, whatever they needed. I was also the courtesy shuttle driver. One week we had a convention, if you can call it that, of mothers whose babies had died. It was a big support therapy seminar. Absolutely brutal stuff, as you can imagine. So as the shuttle driver, I would either chat with my passengers, if they were chatty, or if the guests were talking among themselves. I would have low music playing from whatever radio station. That way it wasn't quiet and awkward if they did stop talking. Or if it was a quiet, non-chatty group. So one night I need to drive approximately 5 of these women to a restaurant across town. I think 2 of the women were leaders, instructors, and the other 3 were dead baby moms. One in particular was super emotional. And the 5 of them were in deep, way too personal conversation when they got in my shuttle. I made the executive decision to not say a word, and just put on a little bit of low music. I did not want to hear this convo. Nor did I want any kind of silence where all you could hear was sniffling. So my default radio station is classic rock. So I turned the volume up to like 5. It's very low background music. And I proceed to the destination. These ladies are in the shuttle, talking about dead kids and near crying. And something strikes my ear. The song on the radio is a song I love 99% of the time. I literally punched the center console to turn off the radio hard enough to where the women stopped talking and looked at me crazy. Is everything okay? Yeah. Sorry, smiley face. Song was Alice Cooper. Dead babies. I swear. It was horrifying in the moment. I can't imagine what would happen if they noticed it. https://www.youtube.com/watchV=JKBS2ZRCL6G. My hotel had an annual fairy fest. Families would come dressed as fairies and it was nice and friendly. But then, after 8 p.m. it was adults only and it got weird. You ever seen 2 drunk male satyr and fawn make out? Because I have. Is it gay if they are different species? There was lots of interspecies action going on in our ballroom. Also glitter. Glitter everywhere from the fairies and other woodland creatures. It was supposed to be a regular clean in the bathroom. Turns out, massive furry. Next day was not fun. I worked a Halloween beard growing competition. Heavy metal concert. Costume contest. Pretty sweet combo, right? Anyway, the whole event was 2 days of weed and beer-fueled partying. It attracted such a strange combination of attendance. The event rented out every room in the hotel as well as gave us a cut of raffle proceeds and such. Because of this they got a lot of leeway on not just hotel policy but frankly laws. Things an hour that should have had the police there. One dude was getting a tattoo of a on his chest in a hallway. Enough said. Another was so drunk and high he lost his wallet and room key. Forgot what room he was in. And couldn't remember what name his room was rented under. So we gave him a pillow and blanket and he passed out on a couch in the lobby. Apparently in the middle of the night he decided he was gonna find his room or something because we found him sleeping on another couch on the 3rd floor. Since he didn't bring the blanket or pillow, he went in a bathroom and took all the toilet paper and covered himself in that to keep warm. Since the hotel was extremely old, the woman's restroom in the lobby had an old school powder room with furniture. At one point I saw a couple completely naked having on one of the chairs. The whole event was so surreal I'm still not entirely sure it wasn't just an extremely elaborate hallucination. Just Google Rainforest 2015. At your own risk. I am not a furry and, honestly, didn't even know what furries were until a couple years ago. My friend who works for the Hilton by the airport told me about a furry con where someone decided to take on the carpet. Well, the hotel event manager didn't like that and basically banned them from ever having the convention there again. But he also talked to all the other hotels by the airport and told them what happened. So now they're banned from all the surrounding hotels too. I wasn't the hotel worker. But it was my cousin and I was at the event myself. Though in a different room. It was an anime game convention, where several gamers and cosplayers were at. My cousin was a janitor, and has since quit the job. There was the receptionist area, the hotel area, and the dining area where this took place. My cousin was doing normal janitor things, while me and my friends were still at the convention center. She was cleaning up around the dining area when two people started a screeching match over something or other. My cousin thought that whatever they were fighting about was probably silly and almost left the area when one of the dudes, looked maybe 20, threw hands with the other guy, also maybe around 20. And they broke a table. My cousin had verbally tried to get the two to stop fighting after the table had broke in half, but stopped and left it to security when they ignored her. This was at about 10 p.m. Right when my little friend group and I walked in to go back to our rooms for the night, walking around in a thick blazer and jacket as an anime boy for a good 10 hours is hard. I know from experience. My cousin ushered us to the elevators so we didn't see the bloodied up dudes in Naruto headbands who were being questioned by security. So we had no idea that happened until my cousin told us. Worked at a hotel during Comic-Con. Hulk Hogan was a guest. In the middle of the night he ordered room service. Like 3 pounds of dark chocolate and other stuff. Really nice guy. Seth MacFarlane tips really well. Chris Titus won't let the valets park for him and Seth Green is funny as hell. Sasha Grey was there too, but she had a huge entourage with her the whole time. A woman who was so obese she couldn't clean between her rolls and smelled so terrible the con managers and hotel staff had to ask her to leave. Guy pulled up to valet his band and he had loose cat litter turds in the car. Didn't believe the valets until I checked myself. A group of furries get so up on something they just collapsed in the lobby and we had to call ambulances for multiple neon fur-suited wolves. Guy shoved a pocket into a hairdryer and nearly set the hotel on fire. I have so many more. My buddy took me to a con once. He went as a Smurf with blue body paint in nothing but white shorts and a Smurf hat. Since he was massive, Guy was 6 foot 4 inches, 260 pounds, and maybe 5% body fat. It was hilarious. He was this huge, jacked Smurf. Well, he got drunk. And he's a very huggy drunk. I lost him somewhere after he wandered away from the hotel and ended up tracking him down by following the trail of pissed off, heavily confused, frightened random people in the street smeared in blue body paint from his Smurf Hulk hugs. Stayed at a hotel hosting an anime con the same weekend I helped pick out my sister's wedding dress. Everyone was super nice. But my mom and I ended up with a bad case of convention flu all the same. Wasn't working the con. But the year that Anime Matsuri in Houston decided to move to a hotel right next to Reliant Park, where the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is held. During the rodeo, I saw so many confused rural cowboys trying to figure out what all these strange people with weird color hair and strange clothes were doing in their hotel. I have no idea why the hotel thought it would be a good idea to schedule a 8,000-person convention during the 2 million person over 3 weeks. Rodeo. It was fun to watch the culture clash, though. I used to volunteer and eventually help run a con in Ireland. Once Homestuck got big, we were banned from one place we'd been using for a number of years because apparently nobody knew how to set body and face paint, so all the couches had gray oil-based stains on them. Another year in a different location, we had to eject a Deadpool cosplayer, a grown man, because he was following a teenage girl, like 14, around the con, harassing her over a Twitter argument. He was also breaking every safety rule we had for a while, so before we ejected him we asked hotel security to follow him around, and they're the ones who eventually kicked him out. The treasurer for the con one year got sick and still came in. The periodic counts of the money took place in a small room, and he insisted on doing more than necessary and got everybody else who had to help count money sick, including one person with asthma who developed a chest infection afterwards. He definitely infected other people in the con and repeatedly ignored requests from literally everybody to go home because he was a control freak. There was a Donald Trump cosplayer. He wasn't the issue. It was 2016 and we thought he was a joke. The girl I later saw on Tumblr was. She was following him around saying, "Hail Trump." At the time I assumed it was a joke, but I saw a Tumblr post from her afterwards and she was a fascist. Craziest thing that was actually cute was the couple getting engaged at the last con. They'd met and made a baby at the previous year's con, and they got up on stage with their con baby from their con nightstand and got engaged. If they have since separated, do not tell me. Also, this goes without saying, but the gaming floor was disgusting and the guys there literally didn't wash. Yes, it was mostly guys on the gaming floor. Especially after the first day. The con was probably evenly split, but I saw more girls in the rest of the con. I haven't worked at a hotel, but I have attended both an anime and furry con. And honestly, it was just 100% wholesome stuff from what I saw. So many hugs, high fives, interesting conversations with people, and complimenting each other's fursuits, cosplays. At the anime convention, I got to geek out with other people over anime, play fun board games and hang out with my best friend. At the furry convention, I got to see the incredible craftsmanship that goes into making fursuits up close, and be silly and play around with other fursuiters. Also, words cannot describe how awesome it is to hug someone in a fursuit until you've tried it yourself. So soft. Our hotel was full during Fan Expo and Comic-Con each year due to the proximity to the convention center where they are held. Around midday Saturday the fire alarm goes off and everybody needs to hold position until cleared by fire department and security. People were missing autograph signings, costume awards etc. and were pissed. The guilty party was a guest cosplaying as Princess Bubblegum. She had literally painted herself pink with an aerosol spray that triggered our smoke detectors. It took around 10 minutes to clear the hotel and resume operation. The whole time the lobby filled with disgruntled heroes and villains who finally found a common enemy in the hotel staff, demanding compensation and answers until it was apparent this whole situation was caused by one of their own. Regular convention I attended that had a based late night panel. After a few regular shenanigans, one girl got up front and stripped everything off in 2 swift moves. Conventions I've worked at, I got to see various VIP guests, actors rip-roaring drunk. Indeed, some of the actors are talented enough to fake not being drunk long enough to get through their panel with fans. Security catches lots of teens trying to have in pretty much any place they think they can get away with it. Behind the scenes, I don't listen to J-pop, but J-pop groups are super fun people in general. Not a crazy fact, but neat anyway. Behind the scenes with an actor, tucked under your shirt everywhere you go. If you see this, you know who you are. We still have a picture of you sticking it in my wife's ear. Y'all, honestly, partying with the furries after Anthrocon was one of the best nights of my life to this day. I didn't work there. But last Anthrocon some asshat vaped in his room and set off the fire alarm in the hotel. He wasn't even attending the convention. Watch the All Gas No Brakes video for Midwest Fur Fest. They have a furry convention every year here in Reno at the Grand Sierra Resort. I always go gamble that day to see them all dressed up in giant dog costumes to see the expression on the face of confused boomers. Last year 2 of them got thrown out for in an elevator while wearing the dog outfits. LMFAO. Just picturing different people justifying why they were banned from conventions and how they were the victim. Whenever it comes up in conversation. Anyway. I live in a lively seaside town and work in a cafe right next door to my town's Comic-Con. I love the costumes and it's usually a pretty chilled event, unlike some others I could mention. Last year, our Elvis competition and Armed Forces Week coincided with Comic-Con. At one point, a fight broke out between a Spider-Man and an Elvis right on the square in front of our windows because said Spider-Man drunk rolled into a Dalek, which turned out to be a man in a wheelchair underneath. If that wasn't bizarre enough. The pair being restrained by a bunch of soldiers and observed by a crowd of other assorted mythical creatures and Elvis's LD. Definitely took the biscuit. The Dalek was fine. The Spider-Man was removed from the situation and I couldn't tell which Elvis had been fighting once it was over. I work security for a convention. One night me and a friend had just gotten off shift. It was about 3 to 4 a.m. This convention was a 24-hour convention, so all of the halls were still open and a lot of people were still out and about. We came across a girl passed out in one of the gaming halls while sitting in front of a console. We went over to wake her and she kept falling in, out of consciousness. Probably drunk. But the thing that bothered us was a random guy suddenly appeared and said he was with her. She was alone when we noticed her. And this guy had just found her and had been looking all over. We were suspicious. He kept trying to take her back to their room, and we absolutely refused to let him escort her. She was not coherent at all. Since I was off shift, I grabbed one of the other security people and insisted they check to see where she was staying, and if she was staying at the hotel that they walked her back to her room. Under no circumstances was the guy to be alone with her. We went to bed so I didn't see a resolution. But I made sure they verified her room number and walked her back to her room. Please tell me someone who worked during Rainforest is here. At Game Developers Conference in the 1990s it was way smaller but had a ton of money. One night was called Hospitality Suite Night, where game companies would rent suites in a hotel and you would drink your way from the top floor down to the bottom. By the time I got to the bottom, a awards ceremony for Force feedback in games was going on. The iForce Awards. I was extremely drunk and mad that EA had cancelled the game Thrill Kill. So when EA won an award I went on stage, accepted the award, and it is still in my office. My friends tried to use the award as leverage and the people at EA thought it was pretty funny. Saw a massive group fighting about reverse racism in the lobbying at a furry convention. I had to remove a gray bunny from punching out a Nazi-wearing wolf from the premises before I had to call the cops. So ya know. That was fun. So many publicly Furies I've seen. Working in Orlando. FL. Internet historian on YouTube did a great video on Furforest, which is a furry convention. It was a bit weird. There was this one time where there was a furry convention on for about 2 hours. Right afterwards there was one for some anime show. It was really weird to see both furries and anime cosplayers intermingling with the general population. Quite weird. I was on the Katsucon staff in 2016. So I witnessed the fire and the subsequent evacuation of the convention center into freezing temperatures.